Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global TV. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has launched the Expatriate Employment Levy, EEL, a mandatory contribution imposed on organizations that employ expatriate workers in Nigeria. This was as he promised that his administration is putting measures in place to overcome the prevailing situation in the country as soon as possible. The president also stated that he was confident that the levy would improve revenue, indigenization, and balancing employment opportunities in the country. Tinubu, who described the initiative as a game changer, says it is important to know that EEL is a contribution recently approved by the government, which will impose an effective timeline on expatriates working in the country to be able to train and develop Nigerians. The Vice President Kashim Shettima has inaugurated a newly constituted board of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria with a call on the new management to introduce innovations that will improve Hajj operations in the country. Speaking during the inauguration at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, Shettima urged the members to synergize and bring fresh perspective to the operations of the commission. The Vice President told the new members that serving on the NACON board was very important, given that Hajj is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. The Senate has approved President Bola Tinubu's request to sack the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission Executive Vice Chairman, Babatunde Irukera. Today, Tinubu, in a letter read at the plenary by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says he was demanding the sack of Irukere based on inefficiency. According to the FCCPC Act, the President needs the approval of the National Assembly to sack the Executive Vice Chairman of the Commission. However, Tinubu had in January sacked Irukere and the Director General, CEO of the Bureau of Public Enterprises, Alexander Oko, with immediate effect. After deliberations, the request was put to a voice vote where the ayes had it and the President of the Senate hit the gavel. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Pate, have disclosed that the federal government had enrolled about 750,000 Nigerians into the National Health Insurance Scheme. Pate stated this at the 3rd edition of the Ministerial Press Briefing series initiated by the Ministry of Information in Abuja, noting that President Bola Tinubu-led administration will unveil a comprehensive program to digitize the nation's healthcare system in the next 2 weeks. The briefing series was initiated to provide a platform for public officials to reel out their achievements and appraise Nigerians of the challenges of governance. The special advisor to the President on Health, Dr. Salman Anas Ibrahim, had in August 2023 said the federal government would provide health coverage to over 50 million Nigerians, especially the vulnerable and elderly people, by 2027. The Economic Community of West African States Court of Justice awarded 2 million naira damages against the Nigerian government over the delayed trial of an alleged smuggler, Abiodun Elesomi. ECOWAS court sitting in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, pronounced that the Nigerian government violated Elesomi's rights to a timely and fair trial. The court held that Nigeria breached Article 7, subsection 1D of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which guarantees the right of an accused to trial within a reasonable time. Elesomi, a Lagos-based trader, had dragged the Nigerian government to the court in a suit. Elesomi alleged that his rights to personal liberty, dignity of human person, presumption of innocence, and right to a fair hearing were violated by agents of the government. Counsel to Elesomi, Abubakar Marshal, claimed agents of the respondent unlawfully arrested him at his house on April 2, 2021, and also took away some of his documents and money. Owerri Anambra State Zone of the Academic Staff Union of Universities has lamented what it described as payment of same salary to its members for the past 15 years, just as it also expressed concern that the union's engagement with both federal and various state governments on how to reposition public universities for national development sequel to the federal government ASUU agreement of 2009 have been jettisoned by the parties involved. Owerri ASUU Zonal Coordinator Dennis Aribodo stated this during a press conference at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, pointing out that both the administrations of former President Muhammadu Buhari and incumbent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have abandoned the main elements of the 2009 agreement and other lingering issues that led to the nationwide strike action of February to October 2022. Flanked by other executive members of the zonal union, Aribodo also disclosed that academic staff in public universities have been on the same salary structure for 15 years. He therefore urged the federal government to speedily put a final closure to the renegotiation by directing the upward review of academic staff emoluments in view of current economic realities and the signing of the draft agreement reached with the NIMI Breaks Committee. Heads of different agencies under the supervision of the Ministry of Justice have signed a performance bond with the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi. The agencies under the ministry are the National Human Rights Commission, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Study, the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria, the Nigerian Law Reform Commission, and the Nigerian Copyright Commission. Others are the Council for Legal Education, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Traffic in Persons, and the Regional Center for International Commercial Arbitration, amongst others. The Federal Capital Territory Administration inaugurated one of the private sector transportation schemes to provide secure and efficient mass transit in Abuja. The inauguration of the 14 high-capacity and air-conditioned buses was said to be the beginning of a transportation system designed to end the menace of robbery through the so-called One Chance syndicate in the city. Inaugurating the buses, the Mandate Secretary of the Transportation of the FCT, Obokum Tom Nia, noted that the FCT Minister Nelson Wike had the vision of changing the narrative of the transportation system of Abuja. Nia revealed that many other private sector investors were expected to join in the effort to provide alternative sources of transportation that would be reliable and affordable. The Minister for Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, has called for the establishment of the mobile court to try sexual offenders, noting that having a special court will fast-track the prosecution. The minister stated this during a conference of commissioners of state ministries of women affairs in Abuja. The conference was organized by the Rule of Law and the Anti-Corruption ROLAC Phase 2 program and funded by the European Union through the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance. Ohaneye says her ministry is engaging traditional rulers to educate their subjects on the need to end violence against women and children. She disclosed that the ministry would launch an integrity group to monitor funds and grants dedicated to empowering women. The Nigerian Communications Commission has reiterated its directive to telecom operators to bar telephone subscribers not linked to their national identification numbers on or before February 28, 2024. The Executive Vice Chairman, National Communication Commission, Aminu Maida, spoke at the NCC Special Day during the ongoing 45th Kaduna International Trade Fair. Maida, who was represented by Ruben Moka, NCC's Director of Public Affairs, insisted that as a matter of critical national security, telecom consumers must link their NIN to their SIM. He reaffirmed that the February 28th deadline given to telecom operators to bar subscribers who failed to link their NIN to their SIM stands. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has signed a memorandum of understanding with a United Kingdom-based weather and climate services consultancy to partner in key areas that will lead to improved service delivery by the agency. Speaking at the MOU signing, the NEMET Director General Charles Anosike said the partnership would further strengthen the agency's commitment to providing world-class weather and climate information services to Nigerians and the various industry sectors they serve. Those present at the event include the Executive Director of the Legal Services of NEMET, Shola Gabriel, and other staff of the agency. Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo has disclosed that 5 people were killed while 26 others were rescued when a 2-story building collapsed at the Udu Igbo Market, Ochanja, Onitsha. The governor spoke at the site of the collapsed building in Onitsha. According to Soludo, rescue efforts are still ongoing to save those still trapped under the rubble. The governor also stated that the state government will pay the medical bills of those receiving treatment in the hospitals. He expressed deep condolences to the families of those who lost loved ones and lives in the ugly incident. Soludo also ordered the contractor handling the collapsed building to clear the debris at his own cost. He says the impunity of building with unapproved plans has remained one of the major problems in the state. He instructed the buildings shall only be erected in Anambra markets with approval from the state physical planning and his signature affixed. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, in conjunction with the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, PCN, has sealed 1,370 wholesale medicine outlets in Kano over their failure to relocate to the Coordinated Wholesale Center. The outlets are those operating in the open drug market of Sabongari, Malankato, and Mai Karami in Kano. The Director General of NAFDAC, Mojishola Adeyeye, made the disclosure while briefing newsmen in Abuja. She explained that the CWCs were established to address the chaotic drug distribution system in Nigeria, adding that the disorderly chain of movement of medicine in the supply chain from the manufacturer to the final consumer is inimical to the efficacy of pharmaceutical products and is the primary cause of substandard and falsified medicine in circulation. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has announced the dismantling and arrest of members of an organized criminal organization that specializes in trafficking heroin across Nigeria, South Africa, Mozambique, Europe, and America. The executive officer of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, who revealed this to journalists in Lagos, said they were arrested in a 12-day well-coordinated operation leading to the seizure of the single largest consignment of heroin at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. Sharon Ajay reports that the briefing is in line with the agency's policy of transparency in its renewed fight against drug traffickers.
While giving a chronological brief on the operation leading to the single largest seizure of heroin at the Lagos airport, NDLEA boss reeled out that operative of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command intercepted a suspicious package at the Sako import shed of the airport's cargo terminal. The consignment was concealed in a 15 cartons of 2,300 watts metal cutting machine. Each carton was stocked with 3 blocks of high-grade heroin. In total, the NDLEA recovered 45 blocks of illicit substance with a total weight of 49.70 kg. After the discovery, the official of the NDLEA started with the arrest of the freight agent, whose name is Olowolagba Wasiu Babatunde. It turned out that he was hired for clearing services by Mat P Logistic, a company operated by one Mr. Kola resident in South Africa. The officials then conducted a follow-up operation at the company's warehouse in the Shogunle area of Oshodi, Lagos State, and arrested the warehouse manager, whose name is Ajayi Imole Moses. Thereafter, set up an ambush for the expected receiver of the consignment, who was duly arrested when he showed up for collection. The receiver, whose name is Adinu Felix Chinedu, confessed during interrogation that he is the main distributor for a drug syndicate whose membership is spread across Nigeria. He admitted that he usually conveyed the consignment to a dedicated warehouse located in Ayobo. The place served as a workshop where he would dismantle the consignment and remove the drugs from the machines. Thereafter, he would wait for a list of various recipients to be forwarded to him from South Africa by the head of the criminal group. The NDLEA boss said several days of surveillance on the hotel culminated in a raid operation on Monday, February 19th, in which another drug mole, Iboanugo Chukwuemeka Tengod, was found in possession of 2 parcels of 2.2 kg heroin with codes similar to the ones found on the seized drug shipment, bringing the total seizure to 51.90 kilograms. He further explained that the primitive actions so far taken against members of the syndicate include freezing a total of 107 bank accounts associated with 14 members of the cartel, as well as 119,582,928.31 naira found in some of the already traced bank accounts. He added that the hotel and a mansion linked to the head of the syndicate in Nigeria, Reginald Peter Chidebere, and another mansion linked to the head of the syndicate in Mozambique, Festus Ibewike, located in Agor Palace area, had already been marked for forfeiture to the federal government. While commending the synergy and support the NDLEA enjoys from other stakeholders like custom, the military, immigration, police, DSS, NSCDC, FRSC, NAFDAC, Aviation Security, AVSEC, and the media, as well as international partners, Marwa said the agency would relent in its offensive actions targeting drugs baron and their network. He says agency is resolved to end the reign of drug barons and disconnect Nigeria from the global drug trafficking network. Sharana J. reporting for Global TV News.
Residents of Ibeno local government area have called out for help against the destruction of life and property meted on them by the people of Eket and Eset Eket local government areas under the aegis of the Coalition of Coastal Aboriginal Communities of Akwa Ibom. The call was a sequel to the invasion and attack on the Ibeno people by members of the coalition. Verified information has it that before the team of police and other security agencies could intervene and stop an arson attempt on the mobile filling station along the QIT Road, Ibeno, owned by one Samson Ekpayon, the invaders killed 3 persons, maimed many others, and burnt down over 24 houses, including Foursquare Church in Iwochang, a community in Ibeno. The Nigerian police force declared that most kidnap cases in the country were fake or stage-managed. The force public relations officer Muyiwa Adejobi made this declaration during the presentation of the gold medal to the winner of Achi and kickboxing of the 14th edition of the Banner Police Games tagged Olu Yole 2024 held at the Ileji Resort in Ibadan. He explained that security challenges in Nigeria are not as bad as most Nigerians believe, adding that most Nigerians believe what they see on social media, which is being regenerated and recycled as current news. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, says the Nigerian military is deploying more non-kinetic methods in light of their effectiveness in combating terrorism and other security challenges in the country. The CDS stated this at a one-day seminar with the theme Civil-Military Relations, Non-Kinetic Effort of the Nigerian Military in Security Management, Challenges and Prospects, organized by the Defense Correspondent Association of Nigeria. Kikelemo Okere tells us more.
The traditional notion of war relying heavily on kinetic means is gradually being relegated, and the Nigerian military now seek to possess and apply non-kinetic approach to project power, secure interest, and solve problems. Speaking at the event, the Chief of Defense Staff says Nigeria, as a diverse and complex nation, faces a mirage of security threats that demand varying attention, and concerted efforts to address insurgency and terrorism, intercommunal conflict, as well as transitional organized crimes and the mirror of other security challenges.
The armed forces of Nigeria, being the key driver in countering the myriad of security threats nationwide, has sustained non-military and soft strategies as a means to an end of these multifaceted threats. As Chief of Defense Staff, I'm highly aware of the multidimensional challenges that confront our nation in the domain of security. Nigeria, as a diverse and complex nation, faces a myriad of security threats that demand our unwavering attention and concerted efforts to address.
The Director General, Nigerian Army Resource Center, Major General Garba Wahab, and other stakeholders at the event says there is need to have journalists embedded by the military in its operation planning and execution, adding that embedding journalists in the planning and conduct of operation will help greatly in checking negative reports on the activities of security agencies. They therefore charge media practitioners to be patriotic in the performance of their duties and avoid reports that will be detrimental to national interest and security.
In Nigeria, it is the bad story that sells, and so we tend to look for sensational stories. And if you don't communicate, you cannot expect cooperation, you cannot expect collaboration. It's going to be difficult. And once those three things are absent, coordination becomes very, very difficult. And that's the major fact. Is the security situation in Nigeria.
Talk about security. When we talk about the situation of war, we all have a role to play. I believe that this gathering gives us an opportunity to x-ray what the military is doing.
I want to continue to appeal to you to please apply lots of restraint when you are handling your jobs. We are all Nigerians.
I'd like to sincerely thank you and commend you for the unwavering commitment of keeping the public informed, just like General Gusau has said, against all odds. Practicing journalism in Nigeria, especially covering the defense bit, has a lot of risks and safety consideration. But against all that, you have been there to ensure that the well-being of the Nigerian society and the world is informed.
Earlier in his remark, Decan President Ismail Musa says the theme of the event is aimed to reshape participants' minds towards effective service delivery, adding that the seminar is geared towards educating members of the defense, correspondents, and the public about the ongoing soft approach adopted by the military in the quest to further secure the nation. The armed forces of Nigeria, being the key defense entry countering the myriad of security threats nationwide, have sustained non-military and soft strategies as a means to putting an end to the multifaceted threats. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
You're watching a midday news cycle coming to you live from Nigeria's capital. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV, NG, and other handles now showing on your screen. When news cycle returns, Army uncovers 40 wells where oil thieves fetch crude oil. These and other stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the news cycle. Thank you for staying with us. On the foreign scene, Hong Kong has asked 3 major property transaction taxes in a bid to revive its depressed housing market. Finance Minister Paul Chan said in his annual budget speech The finance hub is among the world's least affordable residential markets, but home prices retreated last year amid high interest rates and China's economic slowdown. Chan said Hong Kong immediately scrapped 3 types of stamp duty, reversing measures introduced more than a decade ago to rein in speculation fueled in part by mainland Chinese buyers. As the Palestinian Prime Minister announced the resignation of his government on Monday, paving the way for a shakeup in the Palestinian Authority, which the U.S. hopes will eventually take on a role in the post-Gaza as all parties seek for a peaceful resolution of the Gaza conflict. The Palestinian envoy to Nigeria, Abdul al-Shawesh, has called on the Israelis and international community to support the process by accepting the 181 resolutions. Global Television correspondent reports. Gaza conflict seems to be reaching its end, with Palestinians and Israelis reaching a ceasefire truce and exchange of hostages. The Palestinian ambassador to Nigeria, Abdul al-Shawash, says all actors must recognize the international treaties binding all.
To release many of the Palestinian political prisoners and the Israeli hostages in the hands of Hamas. This can be achieved only if and only if we agree, all of us, all of the international community stand to uphold the international law.
He called on Israel to recognize Palestinian people's right to self-determination and existence as a panacea for peace in the region.
This can be adopted when and if and only if when Israel recognizes the right of the Palestinians to self-determination, which is a fundamental human right for each and every people all around the world.
As the Palestinian Authority and the U.S. all seeks for peaceful resolution of Gaza conflict, many obstacles remain, but it is hoped a peaceful region will be achieved. Anthony Momodu reporting for Global Television News. That's it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times Channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Anthony Momodu saying thank you for watching and see you again.